Hello, everybody. It's the Wednesday night show starring me, Nick Anderson. It's great to be back, and we've got a very exciting show for you tonight. My friend Sergio is here, and we're going to chat with him about the Black Lives Matter movement. We're going to chat with him about his music career and lots more. We'll see. I do have some news that I wanted to start the show with tonight. This is going to be the last Wednesday night show for a little bit. Sierra and I are actually moving, so it's going to be a little bit tough to do the show during a move. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. And also, it's kind of an exciting move. So Sierra and I are actually moving towards the cities. We're going to move the band to Minneapolis. So really sad to leave Eau Claire, but excited for the future. And I also wanted to let you know that I'm still going to be continuing to support the local scene here and coming around and supporting that music scene and the economy here. One way that I'm going to be doing that is that I do have a radio show through Converge Radio now. Every Tuesday at 7 p.m., there is the Nick Anderson Radio Hour. And that's where I'm going to be supporting local artists in town, talking about music that inspires me and things like that. Um, and speaking of that, next week we're actually going to feature several local artists on the show. And speaking of local artists, we should get right over to my friend Sergio. Sergio Sigala is on the show tonight, and we're going to bring him in right away here. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Good. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't know about you moving.
I
Congrats.
know. I flew. I was like, maybe I should tell him before the show, but I was like,
No, I'm glad you waited. That's cool. That's awesome. Are you guys excited about
yeah.
that? I'm
We're
guessing.
excited. We're really excited. But we're also really sad. So I mean, I've lived here for 9 years now, so it's a bummer to go. But
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, especially when you embed yourself in the city like you have, it's probably definitely super
yeah,
difficult to leave, but
yeah,
probably pretty exciting too.
yeah. And it's nice that I can still have the radio show in town, so I still feel connected to the city and still be able to help out the music scene and things like that. So
Yeah, that's awesome. That's super
yeah.
cool.
Thanks. Thanks. But enough
Absolutely.
about me.
Yeah.
So we wanted you to talk about whatever you would like to talk about tonight.
Sure.
I kind of want to just give you the floor, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Yeah. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me on.
absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm Sergio Sigala. I'm a local musician, producer.
Fantastic local musician.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Uh, uh, I produce all of Naalia's stuff. Unfortunately, I would love for her to be here tonight, but she has a busy night. And so unfortunately she can't. But hopefully
No
sometime
worries.
in the future she can.
And I'll put
Um,
that here as well, quick. So
sure,
that's
sure.
Naalia. That's the group that
Yeah.
Sergio is a part of, and they're on Spotify, and he does a lot of the mix or all of the mixing
Yep.
and such
Yep. I do
for
all the mixing and stuff.
awesome.
But I don't do the mastering. I send that out to
Okay.
my buddy Austin Niveril. He does that
Oh,
in
nice.
Nashville. Yeah, yeah. He's been a family friend of ours for a while, so it's cool to kind of keep it in the family. So
That's awesome.
absolutely. Yeah. So she's super dope. She's my sister, so it's cool to work with her. We do R&B and whatnot, so it's important for. And we've grown up here. I was born and raised here, so
Yeah,
Eau
yeah,
Claire's always
and
been
I
home.
give you guys full support on that because I've seen you play 3 times now, and every time both Sierra and I are obsessed with it.
Hey,
It's
thank
so
you.
good. It's so good.
I appreciate that.
And it gets better every single time too. And Eau Claire doesn't have R&B that I've seen besides you guys, so that's really
Yeah.
cool. Like,
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, there are some R&B influenced artists in Eau Claire, but
okay,
as far as like performing artists, we're really the only one.
okay,
There's some other people that dabble in it, but they haven't come out and done any shows yet. But I think I'm hoping we don't want to be the only R&B artists, you know.
right,
So
right,
we're hoping there's other people that kind of find that is like, oh, that's something you can do here, and you can
yeah.
do with some success, right?
That's
So
awesome. That's awesome. Plus,
yeah,
when they see you live, they're gonna be like, "This music is so cool. Like, I wanna do something
yeah,
like this." So that's good.
absolutely. It's been cool because like I grew up on punk rock, and kind of got into the indie scene as well. But
Sure.
R&B was always my sister's thing.
Sure.
Our mom loves R&B, and so like that's where we got the influence. But I was never really too much to dabble in that. So now that we're here, it's like that's really all I listen to now is R&B, and it's a whole different landscape that I've discovered.
Yeah. I was
It's
gonna say because the way you play piano sounds like you were grown up on R&B, not punk.
no,
Because you're
no, but
such a smooth piano player.
hey, thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
nope, I'm not even really a piano player, so it's like something
Okay.
I've been learning basically this year.
Nice.
Trying to yeah, it was like, well, we just needed someone to do it. So I was like, all right, well, I'll step to the plate and
Nice.
try to do that. So there's definitely better skilled piano players that should take my place, but I'm happy to give what I can. So
Awesome.
yeah, absolutely. Um, man, this I don't know how you do this every Wednesday. This is tough to like. You feel like on the
Yeah.
spot and keep going. That's crazy, man. Props to you. I guess I'll go from there. Of like to us R&B. Um, obviously one thing that is very relevant right now is, and I've been seeing a lot, is that you acknowledging like what it is you're kind of using in your life. So for us,
Sure.
like R&B, my sister Naalia, she's black. I'm not, and so for us though, like it's still knowing what that where that comes from.
Sure.
And even diving into our music lately, it's been such a new experience with the movement, the new rise of the movement going on lately. And I think that's so important, and that's one thing that people, I think it's like it's these simple things that people are like, I don't know how to help, and one
Sure.
thing to do to help is just educating yourself is such a big part of it.
Yeah.
So for even for me, like diving into R&B, that is obviously black music, and that is derived from black culture, and becoming aware of that history, and therefore doing it with respect, and doing it with love, and passion, and being cautious of doing it for the right reasons
Sure.
is incredibly important. And I think every musician needs to be aware of that in this time, especially because we can so easily just be like, oh, I love this music, it sounds so great, but
Right.
there's so much history, especially in this town alone. Like this town was, talk about the Eau Claire sound, and though some people would argue that it's indie, there's jazz is such a huge influence here,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
And part of the cool part about this town too is I feel like there's a lot of educators in town who do a lot of research and know a lot of those things. Like
Yeah.
so, what when you were talking, it reminded me. I took a class with um, Joel. Um, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Um,
Pache, are you talking about
yes, yes,
Irie? Yeah, Joel,
yes.
yeah.
So I took a hip hop class with him, and then we went through, just learning all of this stuff, which was super cool. So that it
Hmm.
just reminded me of that, like how there's like cool people in town
Yeah,
doing
Joel
things
has
like
such a
that.
respect for the music he does, like, and he knows, like, he's always so aware of the history, and that's why, like, you can tell there's a delicacy put into his work.
Yeah,
And that's the difference, and there's so many like hip hop artists, or producers that are white, that I've seen that have come out in this time to talk about, like, I can't be silent in this time because I profit off of black culture, and so it's
sure,
important for me right now to not only educate but to speak out.
cool.
And yeah, Joel's one of those guys locally that is just always, he's always been, about love and passion, and for his work and his art too. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm glad to know the guy.
Yeah, same. And then as far as so you had said people should be educating themselves and things like that. You had
Hmm.
mentioned when we were talking before the show a link. Would that be a good spot to grab
Sure, yeah,
information?
throw it
So
in
I'll
there.
throw that up there now.
Um,
Um, Go ahead.
there's so many links you can find. Like just look them up if you want to look up portals of donations and stuff. But this website, Black Lives Matter, is just a congregation place for the whole movement. You can go there. You can sign up for donations for their newsletters and to just educate yourself all around. Like it's just a great place to go to, and kind of start. If you don't know where to start, I'd say that's the place you can start.
Awesome.
Um, is at that link? Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
We've been trying to do some donations on our end too. Obviously, sending money to the Minnesota Freedom Fund was one step, and then
Do you want
there's
to
been some.
explain what that fund is?
Yeah. So basically, it is a fund that is used to bail out people that have been arrested during the protests. And there are so many people that have been getting arrested. Like basically, people who have been their freedoms have been their rights have been taken away during these protests because these police officers come in and they just like arrest people who are protesting, but like it is your right to peacefully protest.
Sure.
So and a lot of these people, it's COVID, and a lot of these people don't have the money that they would if it was a different time.
Right.
So this money helps bail out people. And I'm sure it goes out there. So I'm not the expert on the Freedom Fund, but I just know for a fact that that is a thing that they do,
Sure.
and it's been really important right now to do. But there are so many other places you can donate. But for Eau Claire specifically, because Minneapolis is so close, that's a great place to donate if you want to do something.
Awesome.
Or
Awesome.
or you can donate perishable items to I believe the Lismore is doing that right now with.
Yeah, Sierra and I just started putting some stuff together, and yeah, she told me Lismore is where you can do that.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Yeah.
um,
Lismore, they're doing that. We dropped off. Um, there's a sale at festival for water bottles, and I was like, now is the time to buy some water bottles. So we bought a bunch of stacks. So they sent those over, and
yeah,
it's definitely and like it's just like so important to help right now.
and I
Like
love that Lismore is doing it because that just makes it really easy for people to help.
yeah,
Like it's
absolutely.
you don't have to like it's just easy. Like it's right there downtown. Like an easy way to help.
Yeah. It's a central location. People know the building, and yeah, just whatever you can give. I know is incredibly helpful. So
Awesome. Awesome.
yeah,
So I've seen a lot of things that you've been posting on Facebook, and it looks like you've been
yeah,
very involved. You've been very involved in Eau Claire and talking to people in Eau Claire. I know you've been a part of some different Zoom chats and things like that. So can you tell me a little bit about some of the action that you're taking, and then the actions you've seen other people take as well, and just kind of your take on on that?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I have been. I usually like. I used to not use Facebook very much. I was just more of like I would scroll through, see what people are up to. I wasn't one to really post. But in this time, I've just found it's especially being Mexican, and my sister's black. I find it incredibly important to say something. Like people, I know people are like, well, it doesn't matter. It's my voice against like everything. It's like no, it is important to
Yeah.
if you I guess it's hard for some people, like
I
to
will
to speak
especially
up.
say since you don't post much, now that you are, like I see them because I think
Okay.
Facebook is like your friend Sergio doesn't like usually post, but now he is, so we're gonna show it to you. Like so I don't
Yeah.
know if there's something to that. Like you saved your voice for when it was like you felt like you needed, and
Certainly
now I'm
didn't.
seeing it.
Yeah. If that's the case, I certainly didn't mean to, but I'm glad anyway because I try to post relevant information. But yeah, I mean we've been it's majorly Naalia stuff, but I'm always involved with that with her. So yeah, we've been doing some Zoom calls to talk about us as musicians. I know there was one with a Red Letter Grant that we were part of to just talk about how COVID has been affecting us. But the other one we did was this really great vigil for George Floyd, that we were just so lucky to be a part of. That was set up by Asia Saint Germain and Dr. Salika Ducksworth Lawton, who is
There was a lot of people on that.
tons of people involved in that, which was really cool to see. It was cool to see
Yeah.
everyone come together, and it felt like an event, even though like none of us could physically be there. Like it did feel like an actual event, which was super cool. And yeah, off of that, I know if you ever people need someone to go to, Salika is such a great resource. She's actually Aliana's godmother, which is just a wild thing. Like in this time that we just are so connected in weird ways to these people that are so important to us personally, like me and Aliana.
Sure.
We're so incredibly lucky to have these people in our lives. So Salika is one of those people, and she she's been setting up events. We saw her on Friday at the that big protest
Sure.
we were able to. They asked us to perform some song. Naalia sang a "Rise Up," and it was just incredibly powerful. I even started crying watching her because it's like everyone raised their fist up and it was like, geez, like it's such an awful thing for why we have to come together. So, but such a beautiful thing that we are together. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Which is
So
it's such a strange when there's big things that are happening like that, and then there's beautiful moments inside them. It always is such a strange feeling.
yeah. Like I was talking with my family afterwards that I was so grateful to be a part of it, but like me being a part of it wasn't the point of it. Like I wasn't like
Yeah.
so like oh I'm so glad people saw me. It's just like I am humbled to be a part of this experience, you know. And I
Right.
hope everyone involved, everyone I know for a fact involved felt the same way. So, yeah, just a hugely powerful event. And Salika's been doing so much. We saw her at that event, and she just looks so tired. I'm like, I know she's been doing so much. So she's been fighting out there.
So is
Um,
there a way to follow her or like what? So you had said like she's someone to reach out to, or is there like events
yeah,
that she puts on that people could
June
go look
Juneteenth
at?
coming up. Juneteenth. Go. There's a Juneteenth Facebook page.
Okay.
That is going to be it's going to be virtual. I think we might be a part of it too. I'm not 100% sure. But I know that that's hugely important. And that's going to be coming up. So people should definitely watch out for that. I don't know what date, but it's got to be within the next couple of weeks. So
Sure.
um yeah, so she's a great resource. She's a professor at the university. Um,
Cool.
and yeah, so that's one. Recently I've met Jalen Carlson. I didn't know who she was until the first protest, the big one. That was the same day of the vigil. She's incredible. She's an incredible person. Like, she went. She says she's from here, but she was going to school in Madison, or I think she
Okay.
graduated this year. She's a graduate of Madison, and she's just been such a like it's incredible what she's accomplished. And she co-founded um I don't want to get this wrong. I think it's United We Assemble is
Okay.
their Facebook page. So go check that out if you they have other things going. I don't know if they have anything else going on. But I know that she's just been such an advocate. Yeah, that's great. She's been such an advocate, and it's just really cool to see a black female leading the charge. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just huge respect to her. She can't be like more than like 22, 23, something like that. Just super young. And just making a change. It's awesome. It's awesome to see, and we need more of that.
Yeah.
We need
Yeah.
way
That's
way
cool.
more of that here. So
Cool.
yeah, those are a couple people for sure. I've that are in the community that people are should watch out for,
Sure.
and reach out if they can help to do some stuff, because um, there's so much that can be done right now.
Awesome.
So.
Awesome. And from your experience too, I know a lot of people are worried about people who are protesting getting COVID and like that's
Mm-hmm.
been so when you were out, like maybe you could speak to people wearing masks and um or I guess just your
Yeah.
thoughts on
Everything was super safe. I felt safe. I felt very safe. People were trying to stay 6 feet apart. Everyone there was wearing masks. Even uh they made an announcement. They're like, we brought masks. If you don't have one,
Oh, cool.
we want you to come get one, and please wear one while we are doing that. Yeah. So it was very safe. I did not fear getting COVID when I was there. So
Good.
which before is like was such a huge thing. I was like, if I even touch this, it well, like, am I gonna get COVID? Like it was a big fear, but like I think we've kind of now started to understand a little more how it travels, and what we can do to prevent the spread.
Sure.
And so everyone there was very well aware of what we were trying to do, and the safety was paramount as well.
Which I think
Um,
is just another sign of how respectful the protesters are. Like all the pictures you
mhm.
see are, people are wearing masks and like
Yeah,
it's very respectful and
absolutely, absolutely, and yeah, it's been being handled with such grace, and it honestly, like, I think that's in part kind of what fuels the fire. Is it's like we are like risking our lives to fight this injustice, but also protecting themselves. Like it's gonna, like, I saw a photo of these people like standing on this car, and they had like their fists in the air, and they were also wearing masks too. I was like, that's gonna be such a historic like photo, because just it just encapsulates like such a moment in time
yeah.
where we are fighting so much, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
there's so much going on right now. But people understand that these protests are so important, and
Yeah.
fighting this institutionalized racism is incredibly important. And it's cool to see. It's really, really cool to
Yeah.
see.
And so something that I've noticed is that the story is continuing. Like I feel like a lot of times the either the news stops talking about it pretty quickly or like I feel like most of the time people forget the story really quickly and
Yeah.
people are not forgetting. They're continuing and that's pretty
Ye-
cool.
yeah, and I think we all have a responsibility to continue the fight, to continue telling the story, because it like it is up to us whether or not we want to forget about it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember the first time I really remember, like, the protesting due to police brutality and police killings, was back when Eric Garner died, and there was a protest at the Mall of America, and me and my family, we happened to be there, and me and Aliana went, and they were all laying on the ground, and they were just chanting "I can't breathe," and I remember, I don't remember knowing exactly why I should do it, but me and her both went down and joined them, and but I
Sure.
just knew it was important, you know. I
Yeah.
knew this was important, and but obviously, eventually, things kind of died down for the majority of America, and unfortunately, uh, the police officer that killed Eric Garner never got prosecuted, and it just kind of faded into background to be him being another victim, you know. But luckily now I'm hoping this is everyone I've talked to said this is the strongest this movement has ever felt, and
Good.
I'm really, really hoping that we can keep that. And I'm, along with Aliana and my, at least I know my family, we're trying to do everything we can to keep that going, keep talking, keep posting, whenever I can see. um, I usually try not to engage in too much, like, fighting with people on Facebook,
Sure.
but there are definitely times where I just feel like if there's a chance to educate someone, like, you should take that chance. Because I just don't like, honestly, the amount of racism and ignorance in this country is just deeply rooted in the American system. So we can't really blame how people are, because that is what they were born into. So really, but obviously we can blame them for not like educating themselves. You come to a point where you're like, you kind of have to know that this isn't, you know, this isn't acceptable to be like openly racist and to be ignorant of things. So like, you know, people, if people want to join the movement at any time, they can, you know.
Yeah.
We're willing to, we're all willing to educate people. Well, if you want to come learn, we will educate you. We will help you to see the side of things that maybe you haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
And that just comes with how you're born. Even for me, living in Eau Claire, such a comfortable place, man. I barely, the only, I've dealt with what I call subtle racism.
Okay.
Like, it's like in class, like, just kids making jokes at the fact that I'm Mexican. Like it's not like outright like, oh, go back to your country, but it's just like, oh, haha, get it because you're Mexican. Like that's like the
Ah,
subtle racism, you know.
okay.
And it's not because I know they want to harm me due to my race. Like I know that that's not their intention. It's just these things that they feel is okay because of how they were raised
Sure.
and what they see in media and what they see around them and what is accepted in society, like in the schools. So we just have to educate. I think that's such a big point is to one part is educating, one part is reforming, and battling the front lines of the systemic racism. So
Cool.
yeah,
Cool.
there's so much to do, and even here in Eau Claire, like people, it's a comfortable place, but there's so much we can do here. Like just
Yeah.
go, dude, just go to like any of the news Facebook comments, bro.
Yeah, it's
It's
been nuts.
nuts. Yes, yeah. like
Just uh
it
it
shows
makes me
you.
sad for Eau Claire a lot cuz I feel the same like obviously I don't know what it's like to be in your shoes, but when I think of Eau Claire, I'm like, yeah, nice safe community, but then you read those
Mhm.
Facebook comments and you're like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah. It's crazy to think that there are people who live here that feel that way. Um, and and it's easy to, because like we're all like very, they say like Midwest nice, or whatever, the way Midwest people are is just very nice, but we really do have this like this subtle racism here, that it's like people aren't gonna, they know racism is bad, so they're not gonna outright say it, but online it's like they'll tell you how they really feel.
Which doesn't make sense to me cuz so
Yeah, doesn't make sense to
if
me either.
I'm in their shoes, like why would you yes, it's like it's terrible, but like then you have that attached to your name also. Like I don't get it.
I think it's
Like
older people that don't understand that the internet is going to be a public forum. Like you think your Facebook is private, it's not.
no.
Like people are gonna report. It doesn't matter what you do on your. It's like the same thing with like, if I was saying stuff outside of work, like, and they're like, well, my the place of employment's like, well, we don't want you spouting those views and then coming back here. It's going to be the
Right.
same thing with the internet.
Right.
It already is. There's
Yeah.
people who are losing their jobs because of things they say, like, privately.
Yeah.
And some, that's a different argument as to
Yeah,
whether or
that's
not that's like it's like a whole different thing. But
a
like, yeah, I think these are people who grew up, because like you think about it, it's crazy that people from the during the civil rights movement who were racist then still alive today, raising kids today,
Mhm.
and like probably raising them with, if not outright being like, oh, these people because they're dark or bad, but more so being like they see their parents having this reaction to people of color and being like, oh, that means I shouldn't like them because of their skin color. And like slowly they come to realize that's probably not, that's not right, but like it's still ingrained in them from birth. Like it's so important, it's a part of their psychology because that's how they're raised.
Right.
Not even to include just how our society as a whole kind of reinforces some of those things that they learn as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
and it's been really interesting and really cool to see how many people are trying to learn more and like because you always have the people who are like, I'm not racist, I'm not racist, like, but now I think everyone, whether they think they are the most not racist person on the planet or it seems like everyone is like, what can I do to be even better, or like where can I learn this or that, and
yeah,
so it's cool that you're working really hard too, help come on my show like this, or like,
yeah,
doing different vigils and just talking and continuing to, help the
yeah.
conversation
I
continue.
I appreciate it. Certainly I'm just one person. And I'm not even doing as much as there's quite a lot of people in Eau Claire that are doing way more than me that deserve way more credit. But to I'm happy to have platforms and for you to give me a platform to say something that is important. important for people to hear too, because it's one thing to hear it and it's another thing to listen, and we need people to start listening,
Yeah.
because these are things that aren't new. They're not sudden new revelations. Like this is something that um um BIPOC people, that's Black, Indigenous people of color, have been saying for a long, long time. And one thing for sure is just being aware,
Mm-hmm.
like Eau Claire. Eau Claire, as we were talking about, founded on jazz, and jazz is the Black American music, and honestly, it should be referred to as such. Like the amount of Black influence, jazz is founded on Black people and Black
Mm-hmm.
culture. Like that is. I'm not gonna, I don't really play jazz, so I don't even know if I'm the authority to say anything on it. But I know I have friends who, the university just posted something about something jazz related, and I know I just saw a lot of criticism about it, because they didn't say anything about anything going on,
Okay.
and which is one thing that like has been infuriating a lot of people of color, is that there are these things that are being posted in what seems like solidarity, but there isn't the connection to why it is important, you know
Okay. So where do you
um,
think the miss is there? Like,
I
where do you think the
think,
gap is?
um a lot of times these like Eau Claire, it's a lot of like things ran by white people, and for white people, it is just not it's not in um their mind. They're not thinking about it,
Right.
because for me, I'm thinking a lot about things relating to, first off, Mexicans, just because I am Mexican. So when the whole kids in cages thing, like that was on my mind quite a bit, and it still remains on my mind. And for Black people, obviously this, but always being Black and what is associated with them because of that. So for white people, they're not thinking about that, they're
Mm-hmm.
not thinking about how does this affect, people of color, like what will this how does this sound like, and what are we missing, like they're not thinking about all those things, because they have been living in this world where they don't have to. It's not a regular occurrence for them to think about things relating to their race,
Sure.
so I think it's just this awareness, constant awareness of um, of the importance of what we're doing, and that relating to race. Because I know people are sick. I've heard like, oh, I'm sick of everything being about race, but like, it's about race, like that is until it's not. Like we can't say it's not about race, because there are so many. Like unfortunately for me, for my sister, for the the huge Hmong community here, and all the Black people that live here, it's always about race for us, because when we get pulled over, it's we fear it's about race. When we get some like side comment about something relating to our culture, it's about race. When we see things misappropriated, it's about race. So we and then when we see like the university not acknowledging certain things, or not taking the right steps to what would be the word, to like fix these issues, these many racial issues that seem to happen at the university, it's about race. Then it's like, where does it lie for you to fix these issues, like when there's obviously a problem here. And for
Right.
those students of color, it's about race for them. Like that is something that is just, they always like I'm sure for many white people, they go to bed not thinking about their race, but like for me and my sister goes to bed, and she wakes up Black every day, and every day there's an association with her skin color, and she has to be aware of that, and that's the reality of things right now.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I want nothing more than for all lives to matter, man. Like, how many times I keep hearing that? It's so frustrating. And for people not to get that, like, yes, all lives should matter, but right now they don't. And we see that based on just looking at data alone. Like, it's so clear disproportionately that Black people are way more oppressed, way more affected by police brutality and poverty and COVID too. Like, I don't think a lot of people realize this. that black neighborhoods and communities have been devastatingly affected by COVID, and you can relate that to um, um, income, healthcare. A lot of them don't have insurance due to just systemic things, you know,
Yeah,
and
which it's like it's so obvious when you look at the data.
Mhm.
Like
Yep,
COVID has put a lot of holes in a lot of people's ideas of no, this isn't happening, or yes, this is happening. Like COVID is like yeah, exactly what you're saying. The data
absolutely.
shows it.
And we have those issues here, you know. And so I think one thing, I know you this show might be getting a bit long, but one thing that I wanted to for sure talk about is that these issues are happening here, and people feel like, oh well, that, you know, that's Minneapolis, that's a bigger city, like we don't have those issues here. We have those issues here. They're not as abrasive and obvious, but they're here. You know, you have stores that should be more representative of our community, and they're not. You know, you have places that should be educating people about uncomfortable topics relating to race that are not taking these proactive steps, where it's more reactionary. You know,
Sure.
it's like, we should do this because it's obviously the right thing to do right now, but like, what are they doing the other times? You know.
Yeah.
And that's just, again, another one of those things where it's these people who have never had to think about their race until now, relating to other people of color. And it's a very important opportunity and moment in time to take a step back and think about yourself, relating to how you affect other people and what you
Mm-hmm.
do. Because, yeah, for so many people, it is about race. um, and that just, I'm sure I've said that quite a bit in this time, but yeah, it's about race, and it's going to be for a bit until we fix these systemic issues. And Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else you want to
No,
step on. I
I just listening because I mean you've got a lot of great things to say, and
Thanks, man.
really like hearing what you have to say, and um, yeah,
Yeah, and there's so many people else other than me to listen to. I just have like, I grew up in a great place where my mother is so incredibly educated, and has ingrained in me these ideals that I strive for, to educate myself about these topics, and that it's so important. So I just advise people, like, please educate yourself on these race issues and why they are the way they are. Don't just accept, like, oh, well, why just Black Lives Matter, all lives should matter. Well, look into why so many
right,
people are saying that. If it's and don't one thing I've been seeing that I would love to say, because so many people have been putting it on people of color to explain themselves. Like, please, if you're an ally, if you want to be an ally to this movement, educate yourself, because I know personally I'm getting real exhausted saying the same things over and over again.
yeah,
So like, I'll always keep trying to talk, but if you can educate yourself, because fighting um for ourselves and explaining why our lives in this moment matter, and Black lives specifically matter, is just getting so exhausting. So if you do mean well, please, that's another way you can help. Just education, like
yeah,
education, donation, help perform. There's so much you can do, and so much we can do here, because this place is far from perfect. We have a long way to go, but there's a ton we can do, starting just even today. So
mm-hmm.
so I
Awesome.
think I won't hold you any longer. I went a little over our time, but
That's all right. That's all right. It was good stuff.
absolutely, I appreciate you giving me this platform. Thanks for
No
letting me talk.
problem. No problem. I'm so glad that you could come on and share, your thoughts and what's been going on. And
Yeah,
yeah,
hopefully
thanks
hopefully
for working
sometime
so hard. And
yeah, hopefully sometime I can get Naalia on. I know I'm
yeah,
doing a ton
absolutely.
of my own music stuff, but I think it's so important right now. Like, I don't want to promote myself. I want to promote what we're doing, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to help right now. Obviously, like we got to make money and stuff, and I get that. But as in any moment that you can, try to think about it. Try to think about how you can help, how you can do something. And that's just so important. Keeping, as we were saying, keeping the story going, keeping the movement alive, because we don't want this to die out. Because then all those people, just like look up how many people black people have died from police brutality. It's a saddening amount. Like it's just insane. And oh, Just Mercy, I watched today. That's free right now to watch. Watch that.
Okay.
That's an incredibly, I cried. It's an incredibly like important movie. It's insane how relevant it is for right now. So please go watch that as well.
Awesome.
Again,
What was it called?
Just Mercy.
Just
Just
Mercy.
Mercy.
Okay.
Yep. It's got Michael B. Jordan and
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Meg, what's his Fox? What? Wait, why can't I think of his name? Do you know? Um, Kanye's did a song with him. Why can't I think of his name? I feel really bad.
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx. Yeah, yeah, Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx. All right, cool. Yeah, yeah. So Just Mercy is a great film to educate yourself on as well. And
Awesome.
there's so much history involved. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave it off. Is just educate, 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 and educate your peers. Call out people who are being racist and fight the fight. You know.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much for coming on, and we'll definitely get you back with
Yeah,
Naalia as well. And
absolutely. Yeah,
um,
that'd be awesome.
awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you again, and have a great rest of your night.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. See you, man.
All right, bye.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Sergio, for coming on the show tonight. Let's see. We don't have much left of the show tonight. I wanted to kind of leave the show with his thoughts on the end there. If you have, any comments or anything like that, feel free to go ahead and comment below. If you liked this video, feel free to share it to your socials. It's also on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch as well. So if you want to share on any of those, feel free to do that. And then make sure you go back and you check out some of those people that we were talking about during our chat there. I had popped up a few different banners. Specifically, this one was up there for the majority of the time. Definitely check that website out. And I don't have the rest of them here, but if you go back to where we were talking about, there's different resources that we chatted about, and definitely check those out. Otherwise, just a reminder that the Wednesday night show will not be happening for the next few weeks due to our move, so I apologize. But thank you guys for watching, and we will be back again. And once again, thanks to Sergio for joining us and sharing all of that awesome knowledge. It's a very interesting time right now, and I think just like he said at the end, education, education, education. So keep fighting, and thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in a few weeks, and yeah, have a great night.